I'm Sherelle. I'm the founder of Black greeting cards and stationery brand Kitsch Noir. Today I will be reviewing the book written by Jess Jones called Own It. And yes, I have created little sticky notes from my post-it note. My one's a bit messy, which you can purchase on the Kitsch Noir website whenever. I discovered the book because I have been following Jess on Instagram for a very long time now. On Instagram, she is known as the Fat Funny One. Jess has also become one of my customers and has ordered lots of items, which I am super happy about because I love her content and I am now in love with her book as well, which is why I have based all of the May affirmations on this book. You can check out the affirmation session I created from viewing this video. I was absolutely thrilled when I saw that Jess had written a book, and I was so happy for her. I knew I had to get my hands on it as soon as possible. I had scheduled all of May's affirmations to be about body confidence, so this book couldn't have arrived in a more timely manner. When I created the statement for this month last year, I first started off with, I love what I see when I look in the mirror. After reading Jess's book, I have decided to upgrade the affirmations and change the what to who. So in the affirmation session that I made, the statement now reads, I love who I see when I look in the mirror. I'll explain why later. But if you still want to get your hands on one of these diaries, feel free to use the code YouTube15. You'll obviously get 15% off. So the book is obviously a self-help book. You know I love a self-help book. And Jess writes about her personal experiences from her past and what helped her to become confident. Jess talks about how bad she used to feel in her own skin and how she was so uncomfortable within herself, and compares it to how great she feels now. Her stories made me feel a bit sad because it's always quite upsetting to know how bad someone feels about themselves when all you can see is absolute beauty. But this also made me reflect on how I felt about myself in the past and areas that I can also improve on. I found it really admirable how honest she has been and how transparent she has been with the brutal feelings that she experienced. Without stories like this, you never assume that someone has been through struggles, so that's why it's so enlightening to hear about someone's past. Because the truth of it is, we all have down days and we all feel a little bit crap about ourselves sometimes. The book is also super educational because there are certain terms that I just had no clue about. I didn't know the difference between certain terms, such as body positivity, body confidence, body neutrality, and body acceptance. Now I know, but you'll have to read the book to find out. So I actually bought the book, like physically, the physical copy, which I showed you earlier. But this was like not something I wanted to do because I'm so used to listening to Audible books now. Like I find it so much easier, but it is super nice to like turn pages and stuff as well. So if the book was available on Audible, I would have just got that, and it would have been so nice to hear Jess reading through it as well. So maybe that's something that she can do in the future. Because with Audible books as well, I also love to go back and listen again and just sometimes gain that bit of confidence that I need, or just have the luxury of hearing that person say a certain quote that I feel really resonated with me. If you want to join Audible and experience all the great things that it gives, I have a link in this description, so feel free to use that link. The book took me about 2 weeks to read, and it's about 250 pages. I'm going to actually check how many pages it is in case anyone's interested. 242 pages. So, my 3 strong points that I took away from reading this book. Number 1 is that loving yourself unconditionally has such immense true power. Emphasis on the word unconditionally. This means that no matter what mistakes you have made, no matter what bad choices you have made, you are always going to be loved by yourself and treated in a respectful, dignified, loving manner. Under no circumstance should you walk around with guilt on your shoulders. And we're humans. Obviously, we do this all the time. But you should still be kind to yourself, even though you are feeling those feelings. Feel them, dwell in them, but pick yourself up and make sure that you keep it moving. It's not about living and carrying guilt for the rest of your life, hon. Accept that something has happened and kindly move along. And just be kind to yourself. Major key. My second strong point to take away is you should always try to show yourself the love and affection that you show your bestest friend in the whole wide world. Now, reading this part of the book made me actually write a letter to myself, and it was a very, very beneficial exercise. It actually made me laugh a bit because I got really stuck on who I was writing it to. I was like, do I put my best friend's name or do I put my name? Do I put babe? And I was like, I don't call my friend babe. And I was like, but I like to be called babe. So I was like, dear, and I was like, I'm spending too much time on the first line. I ended up writing Dear Sherelle. But when you're going through a rough time and you're constantly beating yourself up about a decision that you made or a situation that has happened, try and remove yourself from the situation and ask yourself for advice. Act as if you're giving it to your best friend and see how different the response is as to advice that you would give yourself. It's shocking. Literally imagine that your friend called you up with the same problem and just say exactly what you would say to her. You may realise that the language that you use is so much kinder and has so much more love than what you're actually telling yourself in your head for the situation that you happen to be in. So definitely try and use that technique because I feel like it's working magic for me. And the third strong point to take away is to physically practice every day speaking directly to yourself. I'm laughing because I'm doing it right now and I'm still like getting the hang of this and it's still feeling like a bit uncomfortable. But when I do it, like when I use an actual mirror and speak to myself, like you feel a bit silly, but because I'm like deep in this affirmations game now, I feel like I've qualified to the new level where I can like start looking in the mirror and saying these affirmations to myself. But if affirmations are like brand new to you, this might be a bit of like an awkward moment, which Jess also says in the book. But honestly, try it. I'm going to try it throughout May. I'm going to try and say my affirmations in the mirror every single day without fail. I encourage you to join me. She also mentions Louise Hay in the book. She also always talks about the importance of mirror work. So let's do it, guys. I didn't want to do point 4, but here's a bonus point. Jess has also written a section where she goes through quick confidence boosters, and I have highlighted all of them and I plan to visit them regularly. My 3 top quotes from the book. Jess says, accepting your life and yourself in the moment doesn't negate the fact that you want more in the future. I love this so much because we sometimes tend to think that because we have a goal and we haven't reached it yet, that we're not worthy right now, and we so are. There is absolutely nothing wrong with being content and being happy with what you have now and embracing it. An example of this is wanting to lose weight. You can definitely have that goal of wanting to improve your health and lose a couple of pounds, but you can also cherish the body that you're in now and embrace what you have now. And this is also the reason why I changed the what to who in my affirmation for May. I've changed it to I love who I see when I look in the mirror, because Jess talks about taking the focus away from what we see and really honing in on who we see. Sometimes we do struggle with our image and sometimes we don't feel so great in the bodies that we are in. But that does not take anything away from our personalities and who we are on the inside. This idea really challenged me and forced me to think about the importance of your character and the integrity that you hold. So it's not about settling or giving up, it is all about accepting, and I love that. My second quote that I absolutely love from the book is, rest is just as important as hustle. I really had to remind myself of this last month as I was going through such a massive change in my life and I felt guilty to rest, which is crazy. I took a bit of a social media break and the guilt was real. Hence me creating the guilt affirmations. Do check it out if you are struggling with the same feeling. There is absolutely nothing that is more important than your mental health and your well-being. And my third favourite quote is, when you get into the mindset of not just sticking up for your current self, but also for your past self, there really is nothing that will stop you. I truly felt this one in my soul. Just last year, I was still in a full-time job whilst running Kitchener on the side. Little bit of a story time. I had a little run-in with one of my managers, and the way that I stood up for myself, I did get a bit teary, But the way that I stood up for myself, it was nothing that I had ever even imagined to have happened. Voices were raised, but I don't regret it at all. I had such a feeling of empowerment, of being an adult and standing up for what I believed in, not being afraid to say no to someone. As soon as the interaction had ended, I felt very overwhelmed and worried that I was now going to lose my job because of the way that I had spoken to her. But when I recalled the things that I had said and what I had been standing up for, I felt so sure in my decision, and I felt so proud that I had stood up for myself. And I think I can safely say that my life changed from that day. I thoroughly remember discussing it after and saying that I really felt like not only was I speaking to that specific manager, but I was also speaking to managers that had disrespected me and made me feel this small in the past. I had done it for my younger self as well as my current self. And I have the confidence of doing that again if something ever happens like that in my future. So if you know anything about my videos, guys, you kind of know what I'm going to give this book. So my rating out of 5 is going to be 5. I found this book amazing. I loved reflecting on it. I love like the little exercise that she gives you throughout the book as well. And I just can't fault it. And I just feel privileged to know someone as talented as Jess. So thank you, Jess, for providing such an amazing book and summary on just how you can own it. And thank you for watching this book review. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you will also look into purchasing this book, as I found it amazing. I have left the link in the bio if you want to have a look. Please feel free to comment below. Let me know what you think of this book review. Let me know what book you want me to read next. And don't forget to subscribe and hit like. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye.